Got one question here. How many tests should you take to have a good idea of what your performance on test day would be approximately like? Great question. So I'll answer it by starting with a different question is, how many tests should you take overall timed? You should take at least 10 timed exams before test day. That's what I would typically recommend. So if you're in the final week before your exam, obviously I'm not saying take 10 exams in the next 3 days. Over the next couple of days, just take one exam. That's it. If you want to know where you currently stand, what your current LSAT aptitude is, and where you would most likely score on test day if you took the exam right now, what you want to do is you want to take the average of your most recent 5 exams that you've taken in a fairly recent period of time. So let's say maybe over the past 2 to 3 weeks, you've taken 5 exams. And these are 5 sections, not 4. You take the average of those 5 exams. That is a pretty good indication of where you currently stand. Now, LSAC has what they call a score band, which means that let's say someone scored a 170. This person's range is 167 to 173, which is a 6-point range. So that person could one day get a 167, the next day get a 173, and LSAC would say the LSAT is perfectly valid, and this is just within our normal realm of score variation. And that comes back to the question earlier about why scores fluctuate. They fluctuate because each exam only has 100 to 101 questions, or approximately, but the LSAT tests more than 101 concepts. There are game types that come up once every 10 exams. There are logical reasoning argument methods of reasoning that only come up once every dozen exams. And there are reading comp topics that come up once in our lifetime and never again. So if you respond particularly well or particularly poorly to one of those things and it shows up on your exam, then your score could vary accordingly. If you get a circle game and you hate circle games, maybe that's your 167. If your exam does not contain a circle game and it contains your favorite reading comp topic ever, then you might get a 173, but you're the same person. Or maybe one day you're sharper than another day. So based on how you slept, what you ate, whether you did drugs the night before, whether the person next to you was distracting or not, all of those things make a difference. And so that's why we need an average. That's why we need a large data set to take the average of. If you vary from one exam to another, and let's say you did great 3 days ago and your exam tomorrow goes poorly, that doesn't mean that test day will go poorly for you. Maybe it just means that either you were not your sharpest tomorrow, or it meant that that particular exam that you're taking tomorrow is an exam that has a question that you need to work on.